Harry was on the show yesterday. We're chopping it up in commercial breaks. You know how that goes. And we're talking, and I'm like, look, realize this might be good for this show today. Is Russell Wilson playing himself out of the Hall of Fame? Now, before you answer, Key, consider. I know he's not a slam dunk he's in the Hall of Fame. But when you look at trends, right, given what he's done, 2 Super Bowl appearances, a Super Bowl win, lots of good stats, like one of the better players in the league, the perception is many years. But he separates from Pete Carroll and Key people like you who were saying, man, Geno Smith can do a lot of – we're proven right so far. Geno Smith looks just like Russell Wilson when Russell Wilson was there, and they're having the same kind of success so far, and Russell Wilson looks lost. Now, it's a new offense, plenty of time to go. I get it. But for a guy who looked like maybe 2 or 3 more years of what he's doing, he's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame. To a guy where it's like, given that, Key, is Russell Wilson playing himself right now, if this continues, out of the Hall of Fame?
No, he'll be fine. Even if so he's already gone to 2 Super Bowls. He's already won a Super Bowl, whether or not the defensive side of the ball, the Richard Shermans, the KJ Wrights and company give him the necessary credit. He was underneath the center. So he's going to get that box checked in his bio and his resume. Now you fast forward to Russ Cook, 4 years basically. With him cooking, he piled up statistical numbers, gone to a couple playoffs, lost, whatever, maybe won the division here or there. And now he moves on to Denver. Russell Wilson's probably got about 5 years of football left in him at a high level, so to speak. He's going to pile up numbers and statistics. The Hall of Fame is not only about how you changed the game, what you gave to the game, how many Super Bowls you won. It's also about the statistical side of numbers. When you look at a lot of guys at skill positions, for instance, and you look at some of them that go into the Hall, their numbers are eye-popping. I mean, Terrell Davis played at a short period of time, but his numbers was eye-popping in that short period of time, and he won 2 Super Bowls. So he did his job at that time and moment. You talk about a guy like a Kurt Warner who went to 3 Super Bowls, won 2 with the Rams, 1 with Arizona, and a loss. But in a short period of time, he piled up numbers. And I think over the time of Russell Wilson's, 17, 18-year career, he will start to get into that top 10 in every statistical category in the NFL. And the majority of those guys, in the majority of the guys that are in that position that compile numbers wind up in Canton along with their Super Bowl rings. I mean, that's just the reality of it.
The era is changing where the passing game is such that even though he might stop that way, several years later, a bunch of dudes might pass him because of the way the game has changed. Those numbers won't look the same.
It don't matter if people pass him, Max. The dude is already headed in that direction, and he's not going to throw for 500 yards in Denver this year. He's still going to throw for 4,000. Well, I'm assuming he stays healthy. I know he has a little mysterious injury, but he's probably going to throw for 4,500 yards this year. Okay, so if he throws for 4,500 yards this year, he'll follow that up next year with the same or more. The year after, the same or more. Even if the Denver Broncos aren't winning at a high clip, his numbers will be there.
So here's what I'll say. When you look at it from a numbers, statistical standpoint, when I'm looking at guys that's already in the Hall of Fame, you're looking at Jim Kelly, Steve Young, Troy Aikman, Kurt Warner. And granted, Jim Kelly never won a Super Bowl. Steve Young has 3. Troy has, 3 as well. Kurt Warner has 1. Different era, but the brand of football that Russell Wilson played was kind of similar to those guys, minus, I would say, Steve Young, because he was in that West Coast system. The thing about it, though, Key, do I think right now I would say, Russell Wilson won't be considered for a Hall of Fame? No, I'm not going to say that. But if I see 2 or 3 more years of what I'm seeing right now, then it might be questioned. Now, on top of...
Especially if Geno's doing this. Especially if Pete Carroll's doing the same thing with someone else.
He's already, in my opinion, I'm not a voter. I'm just a guy who played football and watched it for a long time and played against some of those guys in the Hall of Fame. Harry, he's already in the books to go to the Hall of Fame, right?
I think so, too, though.
The thing is all he's got to do, it's like maintenance. He just got to maintain. He doesn't have to win another Super Bowl. It'd be nice. Now, I'm not saying he's a first ballot. They're going to change the voting rules like they are for Tom Brady, and Tom Brady retires, he's in the next day. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is that he's already put himself in that position, and if he just maintains the next 4 or 5 years, it's not even going to be a question.
But that's what I'm saying, though, Key. If he doesn't maintain them,
Yes, that's what we're asking.
If he's going down the path that he's on right now for the next 3 to 4 years, it will be questioned. On top of having former teammates saying the stuff that they're saying about him.
Yeah, but here's what I would say. You look at the numbers just from the first 5 weeks of the season. He doesn't have awful numbers. They're not awful. They're within line of everybody else. Plus, there is not us or not Max. Don't say us. Not Max, for instance. There's this, people like Russell Wilson. The people that matter when it comes to the Hall of Fame stuff. They don't get caught
Russell
up.
Wilson.
They don't get caught up in the. They don't get caught up in the ex-player teammate, media stuff. They just don't. They like it for what they see it. He's closer to them than he is some of the ex-players. If you know what I mean, Harry.
Never had a single MVP vote, which I don't think is correct. He should have, but he never got a single MVP vote. And those who would point to the fact that he was benefiting from the coach and the defense will point to that with extra fingers if this continues, right? It's going to be two hands pointing to it.
Do you think that Ben Roethlisberger is going into the Hall of Fame?
That's the comparison I always make, Key. I always made the Ben Roethlisberger comp.
Comparison. Do you think he's going in? It's a simple yes or no.
I do.
See?
I
Now,
do.
you see
But had
how
he
you-
left Pittsburgh when he was 32 and was no good, I wouldn't. I'd say no. All right.
But I'm not going to say Russell Wilson is no good.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.